What's up, everybody? It is officially Sunday, the 12th of October. Wow, we are we are flying through this year. I just want you to know. I thought it was just January. Anyway, I'm what is my name? I forget. Thomas J. Bellezza. I think it's Thomas J. Bellezza. We are on the 40th episode of Write a Book with Me. Look at this. We already got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Ciao, Bello. What's up, Emma? I am actually here on time today, although I will be working at the same time. Hey, Ro, just knowing that you have the video playing in the background gets me excited. Let's be honest, okay? I'm just grateful and thankful. Ro, Erlo, Emma, Erlo, Ro. Yeah, episode 40. I can't believe we're at episode 40. This is basically 40 hours of time, just so you know, because we're only working on it. What do? We do about an hour, and then we chit and chat at the end. We answer some questions. We have a little bit of fun. It's all relative, really. What's up? Hey, Cindy. All right. So before we get started, I got to set up the page. I was running a little late. I was on the phone with one of my best friends. He's basically a brother to me, and I was like, "Bro, I gotta go." He's like, "Yeah, no problem, no problem." Hey, Flowers, look at you. Relaxing before Thanksgiving dinner today in Canada. Oh, yeah, it's Canada Day. Isn't it Canada Day? Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, SB, welcome. Hello. All right, so we got to, let's see. We have Write With Me series. We have my process. I got to open that up. We got the notes. Do we need the notes? Yeah, we need the notes. All right, and then we got the, actually, I don't need this, but I do need, what are we doing today? We're going to read today. We're going to do, let's see if we get to at least chapter 5, but I doubt it. I doubt we're going to get to chapter 5. Mostly because the shenanigans. There's a lot of shenanigans going on, and we love the shenanigans. We are a shenanigan kind of people. And let's be honest, what is life without shenanigans? Am I right? Am I right? Hey, roll. All right, let's get the screen going. Let's get the screen going. Do. We got the screen going. Hello, Cindy. Flowers. Do. I know you're thinking, hey, I can't see that. That's all right. I'm still setting up the screen. I'm setting everything up. Just bear with me. We'll get right to it. I'm going to try to... Okay. Look at that. Wow. All right, I gotta fix this. It's been a while. It's been a while since I heard you. It's been a while. If you're wondering what my setup is, there you go. You got the numbers on the screen. All right. The reason I do that, by the way, is so you can see the words and stuff like that. All right. Okay. What we got here? Oh, hey, hi, SB, us obvious. All right, Thomas J. Everybody here to roll call. Uncle Tom Cobley. And of course, hey, all right. Ooh, we got a nice, ooh, I love stain. I don't like stain when it's on my shirt, though. Let's be honest. Are they still alive? They are. It's been a while since I'm here. It's been a while. All right, what's going on? For anyone who doesn't know, if this is your first time to the channel or this video series, first and foremost, please subscribe. But secondly, this is what we're doing. We are writing a book from concept to completion using my process. I'm not going to go over the whole process, but I'm just going to fill you in, and then we're going to move forward, all right? So ultimately... we've done everything that's highlighted so far. We brainstormed and brain dumped, which you could go back to the earlier episodes. We did character arcs and summaries, and then we took those summaries and developed short form outlines for each of those, just so we know where the narrative is going. Very simple with broad general ideas. Okay, and then we expanded each of those and tried to create ultimately chapter ideas. But it wasn't until we got to the zero draft where we determined the flow, the pace, and the movement of those extended outlines and broke those beats up into more than one chapter if needed. And right now, we are officially on organized plot points and elements, and that's what we're doing. So we are going to... how do I... Did I do that right? Let's see. Yeah, I did that right. Okay, so we already did chapter 1, and I took some notes already. So that's what we're actually doing today. Hey, howdy, everyone. Yep, my brain dumped. It's all over the floor. That's fine. So what we're doing is, last time we read chapter 1, and I took some notes, okay? Add more dog creature here. Make sure the computer always has an attitude anytime it's speaking. All right, I don't know why I did that. It's just... I need to work out the hyperspace device still, what they look like, how they work, etc., etc. Yep. This chapter might have to be broken up with the landing being its own. Oh yeah, we talked about that. But right now I'm going to maintain this as chapter 2 based on what we have already. And then once I go into start working on the prose, that's when I'll start breaking up chapters a little bit more. Because right now I don't want to confuse myself with the read through and or adjusting things right at this moment. Because let's be honest, we don't need to do that. All right, chapter 2. All right. So basically, we are not writing anything right now. There are no prose, okay? All we did was map out the chapters with these plot points, which helped me beat out the zero draft. As you can see, this is a hard chapter break. And everything is just sort of plotting. I'm not writing pretty prose right now. So this whole step is about reading through and taking notes. So then we could go back and start adjusting the chapters as needed before we get into the deep dive writing. Because remember, the deep dive writing is a process, and it should take our full attention, and we shouldn't have to think about crazy stuff. So what I like to do is I like to put all the thinking into the zero draft. So when I'm writing the prose, I'm just writing about those things, like this beat. Like, for example, this beat right here. When I'm writing my first draft, I'm thinking about prose that show this unfolding. You know, leaning against the door frame, speaking casually. Like, what does that look like, okay? So if I can have all that set up before I get to the prose, I know that I'm really doing the heavy lifting now. Now, that doesn't mean that if I'm pantsing and I write it out in prose and I get it out, I can't do that later, but that's usually what it is. I'm choosing to do the back-end work now instead of doing the back-end work later, because once you write it, you got to do what? You got to read through it, you got to take notes, you got to try to analyze and figure out the prose, you got to write. So I'm doing all the simple adjustment stuff now so I can worry about refinement later and not necessarily trying to make sense of the foundation. Have you looked? I did. Terry Brooks is a guest writer. That's awesome. I realize that it's very far away in the Canadas, and right now, with everything going on, with how evil the states are becoming, I'm a little nervous to go up there. But I do have friends out there, by the way, that I've already talked to about potentially doing it. I did look into it. I'm still thinking about it. I'm on the fence, I'll be honest right now, just because of a few things. But it is not off the table. All right. Not a fan of Terry Brooks. Yeah, but is Terry Brooks a fan of you, Afghani? Haven't read any of his books. Have thought to, but life happens. Yeah, life does happen. Hey, Hannah Haunt, what's up? I'm going in a while to go and stay with my madre, who's been staying with her mother's sister since July 20th. Well, hey, man, you got to stay with the family. You got to stick with the family. We will welcome you. I appreciate it, Cindy. I'll tell you, though, I want to go to England, though, like Wales. I hear it's really nice there. And apparently everyone who watches this show is from Wales. What's the deal? Well, not Wales, but close to there. Like, it's like we could have a big party, you know? But whatever. All right, let's get into the reading. Oh, I read one of his books when I was a kid, and it was terrible. I don't know, maybe he got better since then. Or, hear me out, Afghani, hear me out. Maybe because you were a child, you read it with a different perspective. If you went back and read it with the adult brain and your life experience, maybe the words on the page would feel different. It's sort of like I enjoyed Cat in the Hat when I was younger. But as an adult, I'm like, this is not good. Like, I'm not enjoying this. This is not keeping my attention. But same thing with Sherlock Holmes. When I was in 5th grade, we read Sherlock Holmes as a class, and I was like, I get it, but when I reread it as an adult, I was like, this is amazing. I love this. The writing is a lot of not really what I like in writing, but the story and the characters and like watching the case explode and come apart. Like, oh, so good, so good. So, perspective. All right, let's do it. Laura, what we got? I like green eggs and ham. Yeah, but not with Sam. All right, because you can't eat green eggs and ham with Sam in a box with a fox. Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss. I mean, he was our childhood heroes. To be fair, Thomas France is close to Wales in the grand scheme of things. See, I knew it. I knew it. Nah, it was filled with Lord of the Rings tropes, but a lot. Oh, all right. Well, that's okay. That's fair. That's fair. All right, let's do this. Laura, we're 10 minutes in, and I still haven't even got one note down. That's on me, though. I love hearing from you guys talking and interacting. All right, Laura leaned against them. Olivia. By the way, I try not to add any notes or write anything while I'm doing this, but sometimes I'm going to clean stuff up just because I'm who I am. This is what it's like when worlds collide. Oh, that's funny. All right. Casual theme with a field navigator. She has. Okay. Field navigator needs a proper name as a person and their position. I don't want it to be called field navigator. It's the last navigator. Hey, I want to know which city or state has bad words for the street names. I was telling my supervisor about it. There's a lot of cities in the Great Britain area. What is the? There's actually a weird. Not that I want you to leave the channel, but if you save this, you can find it later. All right. See, look, I could multitask. Hey, Hannah. I also don't like Robert Jordan, though. He's talked about a lot. It's the same kind of super generic thing. You know, listen, I completely have empathy for what you're talking about. I understand that. There are a lot of, like, you know, good versus evil. There's a lot of that stuff, you know. Even more so if you watch the show version, like, obviously, like, ugh. But I think if you read Jordan Roberts stuff with the same frame of mind as you would read like a Lord of the Rings, I think you could find the greatness of what was really happening and unfolding in those books. But I also stand by that, like, a book today written, like his first book written today might not get published, just like Lord of the Rings might not get published. It's just sort of, it is what it is. But there is, I was actually just talking, you know, it's funny, I was talking to my buddy today. We were talking about how, like, I know this is an aside and I apologize. Focused on, I know I'm going out of it. You can ask Jen, but I got one of my, Illinois has a city called FM. That is true. So, what was I saying? Oh, we were talking about, you know, there's a difference between, like, the prose that you write and, like, the style in which you write versus, like, the substance, you know, and, is he on a, I'm always on a tangent. I love my tangents. But we brought up, like I've been having, I have writer's doubts, and we've talked about this before, but, like, I feel confident about my character work and dialogue because I come from screenwriting. But when it comes to writing long form, I sometimes sometimes these doubts about my prose and stuff like that. And and I was talking to him about that, and we were saying, like, sometimes it's not necessarily about the prose being so refined and so beautiful that they take over the movement of the narrative. It's about what is the substance behind those prose. And, you know, even like Brandon Sanderson, whether you like him or not, we brought him up and how, like, his writing is, and I say this very respectfully, it's simple. His writing is straight to the point. It's simple. There's not a lot of deeper inference. It's all on the page, you know, even though there's subtext and stuff like that, and he writes really amazing kind of characters and world building, obviously, but it isn't always about how pretty your prose are. It's about the substance behind it. But I do have doubts about my writing sometimes. So even at my level of being in the industry for over 20 years, I still have those moments. And I could either contribute that to my depression or just being a creative, because artists, we are self-loathing. It's like I'm a Catholic, but I'm not. But you know what I'm saying. It's all what it is. It's fun getting him there. It's getting me out is the problem. Robin Jordan's books be like, you have to defeat the Dark Lord before he destroys the world. Then he's defeated. But the Lord of Darkness now threatens the world. And I go, yeah, well, all right, well, that's fair. But again, maybe if we look past the plot and we just, maybe the journey of the characters. I'm a character person. I love characters, so thank you. I just looked at a couple of them, started laughing. That's awesome. Butthole Lane. Fingering hoe is one. I'd only need an E to make my distract really rude, but I can't tell you. That's fine. All right, where are we? Oh, come on, flowers. Doing more, transporting, getting stuff. Laura says that she doesn't know anyone, nor does her ship have what it takes to handle the payload. All right, so I'm seeing this note. This is a good note. The field navigator said to Laura that she should think about taking on bigger gigs. All right, this is actually going to influence. Whoop. What's going on? This is going to influence, I think, the narrative in a subtle way. Think about how taking on bigger gigs can be what the hell? Be a payoff for end of the book. Maybe the love interest knows certain avenues. Maybe she is slightly more comfortable with harder gigs, having dealt with the crime of it all. So maybe, okay. Her future is open, and the potential for bigger gigs are out there, even if they're in the more criminal light. All right. World's End, please drive carefully. Okay. So again, this is just a throwaway line that I probably wrote while I was working on the zero draft, but as I'm reading through it, I'm realizing like we can now pay that off because the book is basically done as far as the zero draft goes. So as I'm designing it, this is what I'm looking for when I'm working on the notes part of this is even if it could be a throwaway or an aside, how can I make that pay off? How can I make anything pay off? You know, that's the goal of trying to make a novel what it really is, which is this complex and multifaceted, three-dimensional, interconnected story, right? So when we're writing straight through, sometimes we will forget. I mean, I've clearly forgotten a couple of little things. We forget what we have written other than like main storylines. Like obviously we see Laura Olivia's character arc evolving over each plot point because that's our main focus. But we're not focusing on the little things or the little moments. And it's this step that allows me to sort of see those things, write notes about it, then go back and add and adjust the zero drafts. So when I do write the first draft, I'm not reading through 3,000 words to try to figure out what's going on. I'm now just writing what it is I need to have on the page. And I'm able to connect things early now, where I might have not seen that until, imagine I wrote a 90,000 word book and then I went back and I started reading it. This would get so lost in the grand scheme of things. But it's not like it has to pay off where she gets a bigger gig at the end. It's just that the potential for bigger gigs. Because remember, your resolution, plot point 27 in the 27 plot point outline, must resolve the potential for the future. Because their story doesn't end just because the book ends. You have to infer potential. Okay? I'm wondering if I could go back through my first 10 chapters to fix them before I continue. I mean, it depends. If you're writing your prose, I would just say keep writing forward. But if you're doing zero drafts, I would also say write to the end, then just go back and take some notes. Because it's not necessarily you'll be trapped in a forever loop of editing as you go, and that could be dangerous. Why not? Although, if you're like me, I get so far, then get tired and silly enough. The next time I go over it, I start at the beginning. I mean, that does create, again, I would almost argue that creates like a strong beginning to a book because you're so focused on starting over and you're always like cleaning and playing with the beginning. If you're going to do that, I would recommend doing that sort of like, as you move forward. Hey, maybe I shouldn't go back all the way to the beginning. Maybe I should go back to the second chapter and move forward. And then maybe the third chapter and move forward. Because then you're still keeping everything growing, But that's just me. About their partner and how they just bought a house and that money was always tight. They had to sacrifice a lot for the business, especially since the war. Ooh, more war. More war. All right. The war is brought up. Make sure to add a little more to that. Build on this and take notes on any historical truths and compile them so I can look them for reference. Okay. All right. Here's a little story about My parents went away on a 2-week vacation. They left the keys to the brand new Porsche. Should I take it? Nah. Yeah, of course. I know some authors, Stephen King, write a chapter and review the previous 2 chapters in a day. Yeah, well, he's also writing, 8 hours a day. So he'll get his, I think it's 5 pages he gets done. And then he goes back. He'll take a break, go for a walk. Then he comes back and he does some more chapter work. The feeling's all the way. Laura thinks about her life, not really, and how long it took to do. Puts in there. Maybe she'll make some money. Who knows? They are loading Laura's ship. That's what she said. She's working on wood, nothing crazy. Laura watched the. That's short enough where I think it still works. All right. I'm always trying to think, should I break a chapter up? And why am I doing that? Because I don't care how many chapters a book has. Because the word count's going to be the word count. But at the end of the day, how are your chapters influencing the pace? Or how are the narrative threads within the chapter making sense? You know what I'm saying? Because this first scene could be its own chapter. But it's 300 words in the zero draft. So it'll probably end up being 1,000 words in the first draft. So, and then this is, what is this? This should be 15. Oh, 7. So this is going to be 2,000. So this is probably going to be a 3,000 word chapter. But at the same time, even if I had a chapter that's only 1,000 words or 500 words or 1,500 words, whatever the case is, if it justifies its existence by the pace or how it's influencing the narrative flow, then it's worth it. It's not about getting the least amount of chapters in the book. Like, oh, yeah, I got 6 chapters. This book is good. You know, if your book has 200 chapters, but it turns out they're just scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's just a 300-word scene here, a 1,000-word scene here. The problem with that, though, if there's so many short scenes, it'll be a very fast pace, and we won't have time to sit with things. Whereas if you took a couple of those scenes and you put them into one chapter that made sense with a continual through line for that chapter, now we get to kind of breathe in that moment, even though there's 3 separate scenes. But as a writer, you're always trying to ask these questions because remember, writing is easy. You know, Sarah met Chris, but being a writer is about asking those questions. It's about making choices. It's about trying to service the narrative. That's our job, is service the narrative. We have the ideas, we understand what we want, but at the end of the day, does the idea we come up with service the narrative? If not, we have to ask questions to make what we want fit within the narrative. If it doesn't, then we have to take it out and save that for something else. It's always about servicing the narrative, because at the end of the day, if you have all your cool things in it and you're like, oh, I love when this thing happens, but it's not adding any value to the narrative, it devalues the narrative. It breaks it down, and it's hard to read sometimes. Bethany as Atesda, I think I said that right. Atesda does that. There is a movement to write, then edit a couple of previous chapters, though she is a full-time writer. Yeah, I mean, if you have the time, you have the time. You know, it's. But what I always say, whatever works for you, you should try it. That's why I also say you should try different things. You know, you should try to see where it goes. You taught me a new word today. What's the new word? What's the new word? All right, let's see. All right, people are crashing into things, knocking people over, and heading in a direction. Oh, this is the okay. All right. This is all right. Okay. Wrote all the way through some chapters of 3,000 words, others 10,000. I stopped counting, started bullet pointing my STO. I waved to start first with an outline. Nice. Well, that's good, man. That's still it's still great. Book 3 of 12. That's awesome. I love that you have a massive saga like that. I'm a super fan of that kind of writing. Book one wrote all the way through some of the chapters. And you know, that 10,000 words a chapter might be scary to some, but honestly, if the chapter justifies it, if it has a clear and consistent fast read to it, and by the way, fast read doesn't mean fast pace, but that it just flows and moves, like you can get away with a 10,000 word chapter with ease, you know, if everything's working for it. So that's great. I used to, by the way, congratulations for that. Congratulations to just be that far away. That's awesome. Not far away, that far in. I used to ride horses when I were a nipper, and I never knew. Oh, they nickered. Oh, nickered. Oh, you're reading. Oh my God. Yes, M, you're reading the epic fantasy novel through the Patreon tier. Yes, they nicker. Awesome. I hope you're enjoying that book, and I hope you're enjoying the lessons, and I hope you're enjoying the whole process. I know you and Flowers are gracing me with your time and your attention, and I really hope it's paying off for you guys, and that you're really not only enjoying the evolution of the chapters, but you're also enjoying the narrative and you're learning something. That's really what's important to me. I really hope so. But that's really great that you learned. Good for you. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, this is for SB, right? Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations. What constitutes a saga? That's a great question. All right, let's go big for this. So a saga is anything where the main narrative itself moves through an extended variation of books, usually 5 or more. That doesn't mean that each book is ultimately the same as the next book, where the narrative doesn't change. Each book should be its own narrative, its own movement, but each book is connected to the overall main narrative of the saga, which would be 5 books or more. Some sagas can reach 20 books, whatever the case is. As long as that narrative is all connected and each book is basically a phase where it's like, all right, we did all this. This was important. We moved the narrative forward. We are moving towards the conclusion of the main. Now, a series would be less than 5. Usually, it's 3 books, 4 books. But a series is usually more contained. It's not necessarily expanded through multiple POVs, and that doesn't mean you can't have 2 or 3 POVs in a 3-book trilogy, or I should just say trilogy series. But a series is also where those 3 books and maybe another 3 books and maybe 2 books here or maybe a book there, they're all part of a series, and they all sort of interconnect and stuff like that. So if we're going to use films, Star Wars is a saga because it takes place over 6 films and then 3 more. And then the Star Wars series, okay, is that all those stories sort of interconnect. All right. Hope that helped. Had to dust off my dictionary. Hey, if you're not learning words when reading, what's the point, right? A series of books scares me. I don't think I could think that far ahead. But don't you have a series, Flower? Isn't your main character in your Immortal series, that's a series. That character is connected to all these stories. In fact, like a crime book, Sherlock Holmes is a series because it's all interconnected. Everything is interconnected, so that's something. I need Tom's sign up for that. Oh, I need to sign up for that. The house is sold, so have the money. Thanks for reminding. Anytime, Cindy. Yeah. Go right to the Patreon. You can go right to makearightleftheere.com, and it'll take you can just scroll them down, and you'll see the Patreon. You click on that. You're looking for the Scribe tier. The Scribe tier. Also, I am feeling like I can't keep track of all my info, so I want to go back and outline like this. I mean, it definitely, I assure you, the outlining helps. From the short form to the extended to the zero draft, all very much helps. I will add, and I'll show you on the screen, this note-taking that I do, this is where I keep a lot of the information where it is, and then I could sort of like, control. I have another sheet that I use for like my main books where it actually has like behind-the-scenes stuff and, asides and like some historical notes of things. But then... you said you've been watching, so there's that other sheet where I keep my numbers for the chapters. In that, I have tabs that actually keep track of characters, their stats, height, hair color. Because one of the funniest things that happens with writers is that, like, I forget the color of the eyes of my character. I forget the color of their hair. Or I forget the color of their skin. Or I forget, right? Even George R.R. Martin is notoriously known for forgetting somebody's eye color and or the gender of a horse. There's a very funny interview about that. So I know the frustration, and I try my hardest to keep track of that stuff with other files. What else we got here? Wait, we got more. Love seeing them at the fire last night. Oh, I'm so glad you really liked that moment. You're talking about Zanaya and Celine, and then Devious, I believe, is there, and everybody's sort of like scattered around. I'm so glad you liked that scene. I really had fun. That's an expanded version of a much shorter scene, and I had a lot of fun writing that. And take note to the little purple that appeared too. By the way, I like the little purple. That's an important note. Does your tier chapter 3 include the scribe? No. But the Scribe includes the first and second tiers. So you basically, if you sign up for the Scribe, which is the zero draft stuff, you'll get 2 additional tiers with that. Chapter 3 is its own separate thing. That's I would recommend doing the Scribe because you actually get more for the Scribe than the chapter 3. It's a good question. Right? Yeah, let me see. Patreon. Right? Where is this? Right? Is it? Yeah. I believe it's memberships. Yeah, the Scribe. You want to do the Scribe. Yeah, the Scribe zero draft. Yeah. That's the one you want to do. I just looked it up. I just confirmed. The Scribe. Do the Scribe. Because you'll end up getting You'll also get the chapter 1 and 2 tiers, and then not only that, but obviously you can ask questions while you're reading. You could ask questions in the comments section. You give feedback, whatever you want, and I do some responding to that. What do we got here? Yeah, Thomas, it's great to watch the process in full. Oh man, I'm so glad you're enjoying it, Em. I'm glad. I'm really grateful that you're even partaking in it. So, no, as in no, as in the little spark of purple. Ooh. That's what I'm assuming. That's why. If you have Save the Cat writes a book, it explains all the types of series. Oh, that's true. It does. If you ask George, he'd tell you that happens when you plan out 15 stories in a series and later adjust the total. That's funny. All right, let's get back to it. Hello, everyone who's joining us. I don't have a poll today, and I apologize. All right. If you don't know what we're doing, we're taking notes. I'm reading through the 0 drafts that we wrote out, which are not written in prose. They're written out in more of an outline structure, where they're broad general ideas of understanding the pace and flow. That's why I use bullet points. Helps me look at the flow of the chapter movement. I still do use hard chapter breaks and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to make sure notes are filling in as needed. Again, this is episode 40, so we are really far in the process. So if you have any questions and you're new to this series, please feel free to ask. Oh, wonderful! Thank you, Cindy. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Really, please enjoy. I hope I'm excited to hear your thoughts and if you have any questions on the process. I agree. It's nice to watch a process, especially if it's making a series and a draft 0. Thank you. And I know you've been watching for a long time, so just the fact that you're still here and you're supporting it, trust me, I'm trying to do the best I can to make sure it continues to be interesting. Those coming in, please bloop the beard. It doesn't cost anything and keeps Thomas in his Chepsy. That's right. If you haven't done so, please bloop the beard and bloop that like button. It always helps. It always helps. Thank you for that. I love you, Flowers. You know that? I'm going to start on my 0 draft today. Oh, that's exciting. Please keep us in the know for that. We want to support you and elevate you. All right. Congratulations. You know what? You get an applause for that. Woohoo! Boom, everyone. Yes. Starting is the hardest part. I tell people that all the time. Starting is the hardest part of writing. Oh, hey, Mallows. My goal is to write a saga. First 4 books are just intro stories, really. 3, 5. Oh, that's good. I'm writing romance, so I'm happy to stretch it out. Please keep me in the know for that. And obviously, if you said you have more than 1 book, if they're published, feel free to put a link into for your website or whatever the case is. Also, if you go to makearightleftheere.com and you email me through the contact, just give me the information you want me to use, and I will link you and your information in the description of the videos. I do that for all the supporters because here it's all about supporting the supporters. You know, we're a community, we're a family. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Emma. Hello. Thanks. Yeah, starting is the hardest part. I have a guy friend that's actually helped me with my story, and he suggests that I do. What? Which each plague is a magic system with a curse. And he suggests that I try to do 10 chapters that would match him. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a theme. It's an effort, you know. So that's interesting, and it's a choice. Just to be consistent with it. Thanks for that, but I'm just getting started. I am switching careers after 50. I want to come out strong. I'm with you. You said you've been watching a while. You know, like, I'm not releasing the epic fantasy until I have the first series done and the books are all done, and I'm going to release the hard copies. That's why I'm putting it on Patreon for people to get sort of like a first look at it, but also teaching them the behind the scenes of how I'm writing. Because I don't want to George R.R. Martin it. I don't want to be like, hey, here's a really amazing fucking series, and by the way, I'm not going to finish it. But thanks for giving me your time and money and buying 5 books or whatever it is. You know? I'm with you. And by the way, 50's young. I'm 47, you know, so we're right there, you know. All right. we got here? Oh, Winds of Winter is coming next year. I mean, I hope so. Winter has come and gone. It's supposed to be lasting for 20 years. I have my 10 chapters already for my first 10 chapters. Excellent Hannah Hunt. No one wants to pull a J.J.R. Martin. Who doesn't? That is a fear. That's a huge fear. And putting off reading your fantasy story. Well, all right. Well, that's fair, bro. I can't argue with that logic. Trust me. And the world is called Fayum Oasis, an actual place that's somewhere in Egypt. Whoop! What the hell happened there? All right, let's see. Laura tells the ship to go. All right. But again, we all wanted to write a saga that is more. Yeah, I mean, actually, to be honest, I don't care if my book is accessible. I just want it to be true. I want the characters to be truthful. Plot is important, don't get me wrong, but there are only 7 stories you can really tell. When I write, I want characters to feel truthful. I want to experience the lives of these characters. When I read books or write books, that's the thing I'm really most concerned about when it comes to the books and stuff. Just keeping notes for myself, stuff that I definitely have to give answers to. I don't think I did that for everything, but actually, I think I did it for hyperspace. So when I'm taking my notes, I try to keep track of what I need to name and stuff that might be important. Agreed. Write characters that are true. Yeah, for sure, because. Like if did I say this here or was I talking to my friend about this? But I love the idea. It's like, if a character's just going to the store to get milk, it's more important that we care about the characters than we care about them going to get milk. The plot is they need to get milk, but who are they? That's what we care about. And you can make literally a narrative about going to get milk interesting if we are connected to these characters. And if you don't believe me, what's Clerks about? It's just about characters, and they're basically doing nothing all day, and it's great. I'm going to put on my Christmas list this year. If you really want to read new tellings of Disney movies, you should read Grimm. Basically. Also, if you really like Lion King, read Hamlet. And if you really like Lion King is copying Kimba. Look up Kimba. Kimba. It's basically Lion King. Kimba came out first, by the way, just for the record. And Hamlet came out before all them. All right. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it was 'tis nobler in the mind and the arrows and slings. All right. I'm just reading here. I'm just keeping track. Feel free to read along. All right. I'm trying to hold my voice. My voice is kind of dying on me. My throat. Times. Oh, we're almost an hour in. I did 1 chapter. Jesus. All right. All right, there we go. Just for the record, I'm only setting it to these standards for the live so you can see the words. Otherwise, I would not actually put it to that. I have a different setting I do for my for when I work on my books. What we got here? What we got here? My favorite Disney movie is Sleeping Beauty, which I'm still looking for different retellings of that. Well, you could always either read Twice Upon a Time. You could read Beauty Sleep. You could maybe what is it? Briar Rose or Kiss in Time. A Thorn Spell. You could do that. You could watch movies like what has it got? Sleeping Beauty retelling movies. We got oh. The Curse of Sleeping Beauty. That's a horror film. I don't know if you should watch it. SB, you're never too old. I turned 63 and hoping to be published. 4th career. I'm with Cindy. This is not my first, I'm in the entertainment industry since basically 95, 97-ish. And I've changed every couple of years, maybe 5 to 10 years. I've switched from being either an illustrator to a musician to a comedian. Right? I made a career and then, did whatever I do. You can always do what you got to do. I love that you said this. Devious, the wolf whisper. You're that far, M? M, you're that far? Isn't it chapter 5? You read all the chapters already? Jesus. That's exciting. Did you? By the way, I have a question for both M and Flowers. Did you like that the wolf wasn't a dire wolf? Did you like that it was different in almost every context? That's all I care about. My favorite Disney movie was Hercules. Oh my God, that's such a good movie. And my mom's was Beauty and the Beast is by far a fantastic movie. Bonjour, bonjour, how are you today? Bonjour, bonjour, how is your wife? I also like every song on there is so good for that, Be our guest, service to the test, Or was that, try column A, try all of column B, don't believe us, ask the dishes, Come on, everything about that's good. Oh, Belle is the best Disney princess next to Ariel. Now sing. This one longing to get the girl, this one wanting to be thinner. Do I help them? Yes, I do. These poor unfortunate souls. So sad. He was a big fecker. I know that. Yes, the wolf is huge. I'm liking there's something special about Devious. Oh yes, there is something special about that little fecker. Yes. I'm glad. Yes. You just wait. You just wait. It gets and by the way, I'm saying this it's not going to spoil anything, but I just want you to know, because I want people to look for subversion. The book is filled with subversion of expectation. And I just want you to know, that does not spoil anything, because even my alpha and beta readers, they were like, I'm looking for subversion. And then they'll get to whatever, chapter 10 or chapter 50. They'll just get to these chapters and they'll be like, it was always there, but I didn't, holy crap. I love the What If Sleeping Beauty Never Woke Up, Prince of Nightmares, and oh, yes. Oh, Maleficent. The Enchanted Crown. All good. Sounds great, Hannah. Can't wait. If you want an alpha or beta reader, be happy to offer. Excellente. That's very nice. Thank you for doing that for one of the viewers, Cindy. That's beautiful. As far as I think I'm done with the note taken today. We're on chapter 3 though, so that's good. I thought I'd get a little further, but just my head is a little. Anyway, all right, let's do it. I don't have a poll today, but If anyone has any questions about your writing or what I did today, please feel free to ask. You know, I'm always happy to go deeper into things. Oh, I like perversion, submission. I mean subversion. Who doesn't like a little perversion? uh, all right. Speaking of subversion, subversion of expectations. We got. You're not rallying it today. We kind of come. Yeah, that's all right. It happens. It happens. Plus, my brain is a little like, meh. I was talking to someone for almost 2 hours before I started doing this, and you know, should I start from the beginning with an outline, or should I just start with the next book moving forward? Ooh, I love that. I love that. All right, so there's really two answers to this, SB. If you're truly interested in making sure that the current book is making foundational sense when it comes to the narrative, I'd recommend not worrying about a whole rewrite per se, but maybe going back and doing a short form outline and maybe like trying to figure out the extended version of it. And what that means is, as you're reading your chapters, just kind of break them down into what's happening. You know, just a quick line. You're like Thomas as a character is, this is happening in this chapter for Thomas. And that'll just give you a sense of making sure that the narrative beats are consistent in all your chapters. I don't think you have to do a full rewrite with that. What that'll help you do is see where there's any inconsistencies, or more importantly, where you can lean in. As far as the next book goes, if you're willing to try it, I would recommend, starting with brainstorming, character arc summaries, going into the short form outlining, extended outlines, and again into zero drafts before the first draft. But that has helped me over the years. It's helped some of my clients over the years. But as far as the book that you have been writing, I would try to avoid starting over because you've gotten so far. You want to keep that momentum. But it doesn't hurt to sort of reverse engineer those chapters just so you can get like a smoother kind of like micro glimpse at it. I think that would help you. I hope that helped. I hope that could. Do you mean for my story, Cindy? She was offering that. Yes. When we're walking on the treadmill the other day, an advert came on for Fantastic Four. What the is the guy that looks like a giant turd? You mean the Thing? Ben Grimm? Ben Grimm? Thing is Ben Grimm. He's a Jewish character, which is wonderful. Not that I'm Jewish, but it's nice to see some representation in any form, right? No matter what it is. But he is every character in the Fantastic... I'm going to go nerd with this. Every character in the Fantastic Four's powers are a representation of their personality or how they emotionally felt. But Ben is the rock. Ben is the person you can count on. Ben is ultimately the best friend, the one that will die for you. But now he's super strong and super rocky. Who's the guy who looks like a giant orange turd for that matter? If you reverse engineer, it could become your series Bible. 100%. In fact, one of the things I used to get hired for in screenwriting for other people is they would ask me to reverse engineer a script and create basically a bullet point or an outline for it, so we can sort of like attack the weak spots, lean into the stronger spots. So, but it does help create a series Bible as far as the long game. We did that for several shows that I worked with that were in development, etc., etc. So, I dream of having a book perfectly outlined a la Thomas. Emma, you could always be like, hey, help me outline this, and that I would hook you up, that I would be like, absolutely. If we have to, we got to spend time as much as possible with that because we need to make it work. And that's really just, it would be something worth our time is all I'm saying. We would get a lot done. We just have to kind of like, we'd have to agree to do it and then just do it and make it work. But If you just want to do it yourself, that's fine too. And just send me notes or ideas and be like, hey, brainstorm, you know me. I love you. I'm going to do whatever I can. We're friends. That's what pals do. Just saying. What are your thoughts on the little... I don't even know what that is. Let me look up the acronym real quick. Lit RPGs. Meaning. Oh, literal. Literary role-playing games. Okay, all right. Core elements like character levels, hit points. Interesting. These stories often feature characters who are playing a game or are trapped. Oh, you're talking like a Jumanji or something like that. Is that what you're talking about? I love Jumanji. But I also, by the way, the Dragonlance books are basically games that they loosely played that turned into these stories with Raceland, Caramon, etc. But, and I love those things, I also like journey books where, like, you know, go to page 13 if you choose to go through the door kind of thing. So anything that's like role playing and stuff, I do love that. I almost worked for Dungeons and Dragons when they were TSR before they went bankrupt and became Wizard of the Coasts. I'm a huge D&D fan. Not anymore. I'm old school D&D. But yeah, anything that like feels like a role playing kind of adventure, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. Maybe that's why I like Wheel of Time too, you know, because it's it's basically D&D. Yes, I do, Hannah. He was definitely a thing. He is a thing. He's an orange poopy thing. Ah, a rock. Yes, he's a rock. He's made of stone. He's made of stone. I need your email if you're offering. That would be great. I never thought of the Fantastic Four that way. Now I have to relook at that story. Yeah, they are each... Invisible Woman, by the way, is portrayed much differently in the comics than she is in the newest movie, but she doesn't feel seen. She feels like, you know, invisible, and that is why she becomes invisible. They sort of touch on that on the 1990s version or the 2000 versions, whatever. But yeah. But Johnny Storm is a hothead. He's quick, you know. He takes chances. He's fire. And then Mr. Fantastic is always stretching to the limits because of his intelligence and trying to help everybody. Just a little insight. All right, I wrote my ending today. It feels kind of meh, but hey, first of all, meh is off the table because you accomplished something. You finished it, everybody. Of course. Congratulations on that. Writing the ending is a start. And just like your post said on Facebook, the work begins. So finishing something doesn't necessarily mean it's done, but you finished it. It's a step. You get to move to the next thing. Okay? So get on that. Don't keep fast. State aspetta. All right. D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. I used to role play when I was a kid. I still role play as an adult, but it's a different environment. Like with wooden swords and stuff. Well, oh, that's fun. Yeah. Well, that's called LARP. They still do that today. Back, front, side to side. Welcome back, bro. I hope work got done. Yay! Congratulations. All right. Other than that, what we got? Flowers finished. Well, she finished her final chapter. Yeah, she's kicking butt. I am behaving, Em. What are you talking about? I'm being good. All right. So videos coming out this week. Let's talk about it. Let's start doing all the hoop nanny. God, my throat. My throat. What do we got? What do we got this week? All right. According to my holy crap, we are so far. How is it this? We are already on the 12th? Jesus. All right. So on Wednesday, the video coming out is about dialogue. So dialogue, pace, and rhythm. Basically how to create a natural flow of conversation and varying the pace to match the scene's intensity. Friday will be about crafting epic storylines. Oh, interesting. We were just talking about sagas and stuff like that. So it'll be about world building, but ultimately crafting epic storylines. And then Saturday, we are going to go over. I think it's about beginning, middle, and end. Let me beginning. Yeah. All right. So Saturday is going to continue the. We're going to be talking about plotting and how each act section and grouping have a beginning and a middle and end. And I'm going to show you how to look at narratives with rhythm and functionality so you can ultimately do something with that. So that's what's coming out this coming week. I'm actually kind of excited about that. Woo! I'm gone for 2 seconds. I got 15 comments. All right, what we got here? LARPers, do it with foam swords. That is true. That's true. Awesome! Emma, the only way to outline a book perfectly is with a spreadsheet. I disagree with that, but because there are many ways. Lots of love. You'll find it. How do I boot Richard? All right. Only I get to say the stupid jokes. Way to go! Yeah. After the books I just read, don't talk about role playing. That's funny. Congratulations, flowers, Richard. Oh, Emma. Game over, man. Game over. Sorry. That's from Aliens 2. Or Aliens, I should say. I must send Thomas your 80s rock power ballad. You must. It's amazing. Also, Thomas is an actual rock star. Me? No, I'm not a rock star. Yo! Who is the rock star? If you have 3 or more characters, King, how do you write a voice for each of them? Excellent questions. I've read dialogue between 3 or 4 characters and gotten lost as okay. The secret to voice when it comes to characters, all right? It's going to sound crazy, but it's about positions, all right? The things they believe creates the voice, and what that does is it reflects their behavior. Position is something that they believe in, whatever it is, their opinions on it, okay? Their positions. All right, so they either believe in something wholeheartedly, they kind of believe in something, or they don't believe in it at all, right? And this comes down to the Jets versus, say, the Giants. If somebody's a huge Jets fan and somebody makes fun of the Jets, it's going to create a position behavior. So the way they talk is in defense of the Jets. If they kind of like the Jets and they don't care either way, if somebody makes fun of the Jets, they may or may not say anything. They may lean into it. They may accept the humor. If they don't like the Jets, they won't even react whatsoever, okay? Now, during dialogue and voice, that voice should change, unless it's a flat arc, okay? It should either change completely, somewhat, or not at all. If it doesn't change at all, then they double down. Looking at your character's dialogue in that lens allows you to give them a voice because they are taking a position. And how they stand up for that position, fight for that position, or don't care for that position will influence the voice. So when you're writing a scene or a chapter or whatever the case is, write a little note to yourself about what their belief is about the topic at hand, and then you allow them to either have a debate about it or they're on the same page or whatever the case is. That's how you work out creating character voice. At least that's the first step. The second step is, going through and making sure you're not having them use perfect grammar, making sure that dialogue is regional or cultural or whatever the case is. Are they mixing with like words that the other characters don't know? So you're like, if I was talking Italian to you, but I'm also adding English into it. Maybe you don't understand the English because you only speak Italian, but I don't understand that Italian word, right? So that's also something that helps. The little things like that. But positions are a strong starting point. Writing epics is my jam, and tips in world building is a plus. Excellent. Well, that comes out. We're doing that. My brain just went. All right. I used to RPG eons ago on LiveJournal. Oh my God. LiveJournal. You're not that old because then that would make me old. And I live journaled the hell out of it. Spreadsheets are ridiculous. I use one for Thomas, and that's it. That's funny. What? Buy Thomas's stuff. M comes back on fire. On fire. And I really, look, I appreciate that more than you think. In fact, if you don't know, I have a book out on makeitRightLeftHere.com. This book is about being successful as a writer, as an actor, as anything you want within the entertainment industry. It's the foundation for longevity. It's available on the Amazon. But go to makeitRightLeftHere.com and you can find it. And also, remember, we have merchandise. Okay, behold the sword of bloop bloop. And all merchandise sales helps pay for this channel so I can keep going and teaching you guys as much as I can. Where else do we move? It's a secret spreadsheet, Richard. That's true. It is very secret. Oh my, he's an act. Yes, I am. I am a rock star. That was No, I had too much clothing on for that to be Manowar clothing. Manowar is oil and a loincloth. I was dressed in, more regal. How could you keep a spreadsheet a secret from me? Because, Richard, some things we want to have fun with. I'm just playing. Speaking of music, I always listen to Queen when I start writing. Hey, you're the, what is it? You're the defenders of the universe, right? Oh, you're the princes of the universe. The Highlander song. Queen is amazing. I love Queen. There's nothing wrong with Queen. What other secrets are you keeping? None. Quite easily, Richard. How could you? With ease. Not the sharks. I was thinking of you the whole time, Richard. You know what's funny? I was also thinking of you the whole time, Richard. Can you do a dialogue talk like the one coming up on this subject with examples? Well, are you looking specifically, just let me know, Cindy, just to clarify, are you specifically talking about what I was talking about, how to create voice with characters? I have videos on that, but if you want me to do a video on that and expand on it, I will. Just confirm what you're talking about when it comes to the dialogue like that, because I'm going to do more ask videos and try to get those out, even if I end up doing those live. That makes it worse, Emma. Oopsie. Oh, you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do love singing. Lost in the darkness, silence surrounds you. Once there was morning, now endless night. I will find the answer. All right, okay, I could go on and on. I love Jekyll and Hyde. I have bought Thomas's stuff, and y'all have a copy of Carla's son's book to look forward to. First and foremost, thank you for buying my stuff. Second, we need to remember that we gotta buy Carla's son's stuff. Who's Carla? How do you not know who Carla is, Richard? All right. That sounds like a good premise. What are we looking at? That sounds like a good premise for a romance. I see. I secretly spread my sheets for you. That's actually kind of funny. That's very funny. I have also bought everyone a copy of Carla's son's book, but you can't have too many. You can never have too many. I need them to help my tables off out of line. Thomas picks the most obscure Queen song ever. Well, listen. If you want, I could basically do, what is this? Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pull my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life has just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, ooh. Didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, carry on. Nothing really matters. All right, sorry. Could do that all. I know this is a writing channel, but look, we're in the second hour and it's all about fun. I'll go look at your other videos. Please do, but let me know about the. I will. You got to let me know exactly what you're looking for, and then I'll put it in the queue. My characters are sounding different in dialogue. It's the narrative where they sound samey. Ooh, okay, well that's fair. Yeah, when you're doing a dual POV, you want to make sure that their POVs are exploring a different element of the main narrative, if not their own personal narratives, their own character arcs that are sort of influencing the main narrative. At the end of the day, though, if it's just, well, here's an example. You're reading the Death of a King series. So if you notice how Aaliyah's chapters feel versus Devious's chapters, that's a good physical example since you have those. Right, Aaliyah is basically still in the same narrative that Devious is, even though it's Devious's main. He's the main POV. She's the secondary POV, but her narrative feels all her own, and that's something to think about. Is like, how do I separate the way they are living through that narrative, and that will help. I miss Carla. I bet you her son misses it too, because she's out advertising all the time. Ooh, is he going to do the whole? No. I mean, I could if you really wanted me to, but I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening. Galileo, Figaro, Magneto. Right? But I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family. Spare him this life from this monstrosity. Easy come, easy go, not go. He did the thing. What thing? What did I do? You gotta tell me. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening. Freddy, come. Yeah, I wish. Freddy, come back. That's funny. Have you heard the Padme version of that song? I have. Yay, the Wayne's World. It's Wayne's World. One of my favorite songs from them is, what is it? The Show Must Go On. Show Must Go On. But I like Elton John's live version of that song that was recorded much more than I like the recorded version of Queen. But I also like Queen's live version the most. Empty spaces, what are we living for? Abandoned places, I guess we know the score. On and on, right? And the show must go on. The show must go on. That song is so good. It's so good. Yeah, I'm thinking about Queen now. All right. Whew. We had a nice day. Oh, we got more? Whoa! Hey! Welcome to the show! Thank you, SB. I really appreciate the love. And just so you know, all members are going to start getting an extra treat. It's going to be in the community section. And I am also working on an actual class for the YouTube members, which should be coming out by the, what do we call it, 2026. So you're going to get a lot of fun out of that. But ultimately, it's my gift to you for the love and support. Thank you for that. Thank you. Appreciate it. And also, for anyone who doesn't know, if you are a member of the Scribe on Patreon, you will also get a look-see into that lesson series as well. So, but thank you so much. Wow. Thank you, everyone. Let's give her let's do a round of applause for that. I'm actually. Thank you for that. Thank you so much, love. All right, we are getting close to the end now. These are the days of our lives, brought a tear to my eye. All right. Much love. Oh, live long and prosper, my friend. Live long and prosper. I've been watching Strange New Worlds. It's a really good show, actually. I'm enjoying it. All right, what do we got? Oh, we got to do the thing. For anyone who doesn't know, just real quick, I have the book, makearightlefthear.com. It all begins with one step, one choice, one change. I am still pushing through on the second draft of this book. I am killing it. We are flying through that book. I really think it'll be done by January, December, hopefully. My goal is Christmas. But I'm cutting words, cutting lines, and we are getting right to it. That book will go over everything you need to know when it comes to outlining, specifically with the 27 plot point outline. However, if you are a pantser, it also dives deep into narrative structure just in general and things you should be thinking about when you're entering certain areas of your narrative. As you know, Flowers and M are reading Death of a King, which is available on... Oh, and now Cindy. It is available. It is available on Patreon. You can not only just read... You can not only read the book unfolding, but you get some insight into why and what I was doing. I show the short form, the extended outlines. I show the zero draft, the first draft, and the third draft before the polish. So you learn a lot. There's a lot involved in that lesson. So I'm just saying, if you're interested in reading my epic fantasy stuff and you want to watch Devious Maureen hang out with people and wolves, you never know. You might enjoy it. That wolf part was scary, I hope, right? You're like, Jesus, these kids are gonna die, and they should have, but it was Act 1, so you can't just kill people in Act 1. You got to at least wait to Act 2. You know what I'm saying? I do ask this question to everyone who reads the book, and they didn't get. What character you think is gonna die? Also, if anyone doesn't know, in the book there's a character named Otis, and I always like to know what people think of Otis and how much they love that Uber. I'm not giving any spoilers. There are no spoilers. I just ask the questions because I want to see how the reader perceives the potential of narrative outcome. That's all I'm saying. I know I panicked when Mr. Wolf turned up. That was a scary... that was... Because he's just like, his presence is just right there on poor Devia. It's so good. The shit map reader. That's funny. Showing him a trick or two. That's right. It's not that he talks to the wolves, but it's very funny. That's funny. Doolittle. Devious Doolittle. I'm gonna use that. I might actually put that in one of the books. Devious. But I guess it wouldn't make sense because Doolittle isn't a character in the world. But maybe when I'm talking about it in marketing, I'll be like, Devious Doolittle. That's funny. Devious Doolittle. That's really funny. Devious Yoda. I mean, of all characters, he's probably not Yoda, but... My little green friend. If so strong, why try to leave then? Unlimited power! Okay. Sorry. Palpatine's one of my favorite Star Wars characters, okay? Lord Sidious. Do it. I can feel your anger. He kind of used the Force. Did he? Did he use the Force? I don't know. I guess you have to keep reading. You have to keep reading, Em. You got to keep reading. You'll answer your own question with that one. I'm not gonna, as FFS stands for, Emma, no spoils. I'm not gonna tell you, but you have to keep reading. You have to keep reading. Isn't Palpatine awesome? I love Palpatine. Palpatine's fantastic. Imagine if they did a lewd Star Wars film. They have. It would be Insidious. Oh my God! All right, let's go in. All right. Did you mean the thread? Thread. The thread. Afghani, can you clarify that? I think I'm just confused because of everything, the mix of everything. Would be insidious. That was actually, it was a little intelligence behind it, and I think that's what made it very funny. Very funny. We like intelligent humor. All right. In Acolyte, they turn the Force. Oh God, that's right. Oh man, we are one, we are many. Yeah, the Force apparently is a thread. I accept that change only for one reason and one reason only: culture. So to those witches in their culture, it's them foreseeing the Force as a thread. That is my acceptance to it. But I think if them calling the thread and then throughout the entire Star Wars universe, they start calling it the thread because they're trying to get away from everything George Lucas, then I would be like, all right, well, that's stupid. Anyway. All right, we're having a lot of fun here. But if anyone has questions, feel free to ask away. I'm always happy to. But if you haven't done so already and you've been following, please like and subscribe. Can't go wrong with a like and subscribe. Yeah. Talk about the like and the subscribe. All right. For anyone who is watching, Acolyte, did you see it? What is the deal? They filmed Ahsoka season 2. I don't know if you know that. That's coming out. But, all right. With anything, let's see. I got to close out this. Close out the chapters. By the way, I'm having a lot of fun with this series, and I hope you're learning from the series as well. So keep that in mind. Me today. Isn't it maddening when writing pro aid suggests a different word, then when you change it to that, it always... Yes. The answer to that is yes. Very much so. I use Grammarly. Actually, I use Quillbot, which is basically Grammarly, as a guide to make choices. And I don't always, if ever, take their suggestions. But what I like to do is try to understand what they're doing. But Grammarly and also Quillbot, if you're using their grammar check, not their spell check, but their grammar check, you got to remember it's trying to create a concise, more deliberate or clear version of your sentence. So I recommend not always sticking to it because it could lead to losing your author voice. But more importantly, it doesn't always understand creative writing choices because it's trying to edit it for like a thesis or something, or for like something formal. So you lose, like a fragmented sentence will pop up. Oh, this is fragmented. You got to, right? So when you're using Quillbot or Grammarly or anything that has to do, like even words, spell check, or writing pro aid, they're going to be saying, hey, listen, this doesn't work. And they are right. Grammatically, it is a fragmented sentence. But when it comes to creative writing, you're trying to create rhythms. So you got to make choices. I tidied up my chapters, so I'm happy in my head. I'm happy for you, my friend. You got to tidy it up. You know what I'm saying? You got a little... Put it there. Do that. Okay. All right. I have a question. How does Manowar get past the TSA at the airport? Well, they're slippery at best, and it's very hard to grab them in general. So they just sort of like, get through! Also, they can sing so high, they're like, metal! That it pops people's heads, or they go deaf and they're like, I can't hear it. So that was an easy. I have plenty of answers for that one. Maddening is the polite word. Yes, it is very polite. What are we getting? Hey, don't forget to buy Carlos. Yeah, we almost forgot. Thank you, Em. Yeah, I don't have anything up on the screen for that, so I appreciate you keeping the ball in the game. Yes, I'm learning to ignore, and also, what the are you talking about? Oh, like with Grammarly, like oh yeah, the slide on there. The slide on through the scanner. Yeah. Slippery Anaconda. By the way, who wants to see the new Anaconda movie is all I'm saying. Thank you. Slippery. They do have slippery anacondas because it's all oiled. Not that we know, but if you needed a reference, for anyone that doesn't know, Manowar is very much appreciated on the show. If you're not into metal, you are not my friend. Heavy metal or no metal at all. Wimps and posers, leave the hall. That is Manowar. We have to decide on what's next in life because... Alright. One could take a guess and think, yes, slippery. My eyes! My eyes! Okay. Now you're talking. Hey! Welcome to the show, Chris Maycock. You can't go wrong with metal. You can't go wrong with heavy metal. We sing a lot of metal on this song, on this channel, just because. But we also do a little bit of, reluctantly crouch on the starting line, pumping and thumping and rock. Okay. The street lights go, the crowd begins. Hey, Chris Maycock. I hope I'm saying your last name right. Is the syllabus or the emphasis on May or cock? I just because when you say my last name, Bellezza, you could say Bellezza, or you could be like, this guy is a douche, and that happens often with people and me. They did. I'd like to hear more Hamilton. Oh, Hamilton. I don't know if I have the skill set for Hamilton, but let's see. Do I? I only heard like a couple of their songs a couple of times, but let's see. Ready? I don't think I could do it, but please don't judge. No, I can't do it. How does a bastard, orphan son of a whore, and a Scotsman dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by Providence? I don't know what the rhythm is. That's the problem. The $10 founder father without a father. I can't. I don't. I've maybe seen that musical once, and it was on TV, so I didn't really get the full experience of it. I like the big operatic kind of stuff, like Phantom. What is sing once again with me, a strange duet. I power over you. All that. What we got? Hello. You are taking requests. We'll be judging a lot. Emma, you're more than welcome to judge. You did it all yesterday when I was doing the rewrite the greats. I have seen it once. I seen it on there, but for me to be able to sing it, I have to sort of obsess over it. If we're making requests, I think we haven't heard a popular Kiss song and listen. First of all, we already know that the lyrics to that song are very funny if you read them, but yeah, I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me. And I can't get enough of you, baby. Can you get enough of me? Yeah. I want to give it all to you in the darkness. Yeah. Anyway, the lyrics are funny. The chorus is my favorite part. Getty and Alex coming out of retirement. Tom Sawyer's a real time. What is it? I can't do it. As long as they play... Oh, the neck... Yes. 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 Also, by the way, the saddest thing that ever happened to metal is Nevermore's singer dying. I just want to put that out there. Necromancer made me think of Nevermore. Not that it's the song, but... I made helpful... You made fantastic suggestions, and... it happens. You gave me a mouthful. I should be giving you the mouthful as an editor, like an outliner. But no, you don't want my advice. What do I know? I don't know anything. You're gonna use Richard's spreadsheet. What do I? That and oh, fountain of laughter. Oh yes, yes, yes. I'm with you on that success. Sings along. I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for me. You know what's a good song that doesn't get a lot of love? Uh, I need your arms around me. I need to feel your touch. I need your understanding. I need your love so much. You tell me that you love me so. You tell me that you care. But baby, when I need you, you're never there. Yeah. On the phone, long, long distance, always through such strong resistance. First you say you're too busy. I won't even miss you, right? Never there. Sorry, I'm a huge Cake fan. All right, what we got here? Oh, I'm in that stage of my first book, Dreams of Dust. Fan-freaking-tastic title, my friend. That's an amazing title. Dreams of Dust. Jesus. Bro. I don't know if you're a bro, but bro. That's a good title. Do not change that title. Where I am adding chapters and just trying to expand it while battering the pacing. I am sitting at 62,000 words right now. Right now, that sounds like a short story, but a fantastic title. And the things, if you're looking for advice, if you're asking just in general, with the advice, if you're trying to expand the chapters, just make sure you're either going deeper into characterization, like who the characters are and their emotional truths and positions, and allowing that to stand out a little bit more. And then one of the rules that we talk about on here is a narrative is made up of both plot and story. Plot is what needs to happen no matter what. But story is how the plot unfolds through the emotional experiences and choices of your characters. So when and where you can, if you're trying to expand the book while earning those expansions, focus on the story. How are the characters' emotional experiences and choices influencing the page? And that'll really help. So if you focus on going deeper into characters' positions, them making choices and their experiences, whether it's immersion or not, that will help earn those expansions. Anyone stumbling across the stream is going to be very confused. They're like, I thought you were writing a book. Well, that's a thing. That's a thing. It is what it is. I can't recommend any song shorter than 20 minutes. So, first of all, I'll sing every Dream Theater song you could think of. Second of all, I have written more than one 20-minute song in my lifetime. One being called "The Dance," and it's a song between two characters moving through forever as reincarnation lovers. And they keep finding one another, but when they find each other, they keep dying, and then so it's The Dance. And that song is 23 minutes long. So, is singing rock compulsory? Yes. I sing while I'm writing. It happens. Hey, success is mine. I'm glad you like the title. I promise I wasn't reversing Stephen Erickson's title, Dust of Dreams, Book 9. Yeah, but see, Dreams of Dust has such subtext, whereas Dust of Dreams, I don't know, saying it out loud, I think Dreams of Dust is definitely the stronger title. It's like Dreams, it's just so visceral. That's a good title. It's a good title. Not rock in particular, M. Yeah, it could be, I'm a slave for you. Good gaga, good gaga. If you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friends. Yeah. What about just singing? If so, I'm fooked. First of all, fooked is great. Oh, good. I'm so glad that was good advice. Yeah, characterization is definitely something I need to keep expanding. Do you like Neil Morse? He is yeah, of course. And then Mike Portnoy. Yeah, of course. I actually, I used to, when I was more in the music industry, I was friends with Jordan Rudess and his wife and all them. And also Mike Portnoy and John Petrucci lived near me. And I may or may not have ran into them. But I worked with Chris Collins. If you don't know who that is in Dream Theater lore, Chris Collins was the original singer of Dream Theater, and I could tell you some funny stories, but I won't. That connect him to Dream Theater and why he's not in Dream Theater. But yeah, I have a big history with them, and not where it's like if they saw me, they'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it's been forever." But I interacted in the same circles, and I knew people, and I was actually more friendly with Jordan Rudess's wife than I was with Jordan Rudess because she's the person I talk to online. Out with at shows, like we'd sit together and stuff like that. I'm going to teach you the next thing: plot and narrative. Transatlantic is great though, but Neil Morse, how can you not? Neil Morse is fantastic. Dreams of Dust sounds much better. Yeah, right? Dreams of Dust. Like, it's just so... I don't just say it, Dreams of Dust. Like, it's just, again, visceral, I guess, is the only word. It is. It's so spicy. No, I had a lot of fun in the music industry, but at the same time, I'm glad I stepped away and sort of did a soft retire, and then I got into other industries, from comedy to acting, built my career in that, established myself in the union, the SAG-AFTRA union, ran for office a few times, a couple other things with that, and eventually I retired from all that because COVID and a whole bunch of other things, and now I write full time, and and I do this because I'm trying to enlighten and educate and build community so others can be inspired by one another, and we can get more and more stories out of people, because really art is the soul of existence. Without creativity, without even paintings, what are we truly saying? You know what I'm saying? The main magic system also relates to dreams. Very good. And book 2 is called Dreams of War. And book 3 is called Dreams of Victory. So we have a dreams connection. So I like that. I dig the, I understand what you're doing there. So that's pretty sexy. Dreams of War, though. That's good. These are great titles. Dreams of Victory. Dreams of Victory, I like it. But I'll tell you right now, between Dreams and War and Dreams of Dust is by far the fucking, that's the king. But Dreams of War and Dreams of Dust has a stronger impact. Dreams of Victory feels lighter and up. Yeah, the dream theme is cool, though. Very cool. What was at the office that made you want to run to it? What was at the office that made you want to run to it? Ro, I don't know why I'm confused with that question. What was at the office that made you want to run to it? You're gonna have to explain that. I think my brain is putty right now. Dreams of victory, dreams of triumph, dreams. Well, you got Dreams of Dust, Dreams of War. I mean, victory works. Don't get me wrong. Triumph works also. But, gotta get the turkey out of the oven. See you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. All right. Be good, Cindy, and thank you so much for joining the Patreon tier, and I really can't wait to hear your thoughts and words, and let me know how it's helping you, and if you have questions, as they say. Oh, I ran for office. Yes. All right, you're talking, I'm sorry. I don't know why my brain was thinking about the show, The Office. Yeah, so you're asking, what was at the office? You're asking it. You're making a joke. I ran. I was asked by the president of SAG-AFTRA to run with him and his party as basically a delegate, and I did that for a couple years, and then he passed away, unfortunately. And much love and peace to Mike Hodge. And then his vice president, who's a wonderful human being, she said, "Mike, loved and appreciate you. Would you like to run with us too?" And I did. But the reason why I did it is because this is helpful for writers too. If you're trying to be successful within a field of interest, you have to get involved in the community. And for acting, and I wanted to focus on writing and producing, but I was an actor, and I had an easy way to get into the union. So I got into the union so I could be involved with the union. So once you pay to get into the union, you could use their offices, you could hang out with them, You could get to know people. You can, there's tons of programs that are all free. You get to meet other people that are not only big name actors, but you get to become friends with them because you're peers, right? So I did all that. That led me to have the opportunity to befriend the president. We really got along really well. I really miss Mike. But at the same time, one of the things I came from it, he says, what is your goals? I said, I want to be a screenwriter. I want to focus on screenwriting and producing, television, film, I don't care. And he introduced me to people that were very helpful to the career. So I wouldn't have really gotten that opportunity if I didn't get a third party. So when you're a writer, you got to think the same way. Like, how do I get involved in the community? That leads me to opportunities, that lead me to relationships, that lead me to get my name ingrained into that world. Because writing books by itself isn't necessarily what leads you to success, though it could. Don't get me wrong. If the right person, which is networking, gets your book and the right marketing is put behind it, because you could even market crap and make it successful, you'll be able to get where you do. But getting involved in your community is the fastest road to success, only because if people like you and you like them and you help the tables you join by leading, following, and advising, you're an asset, and people want assets around, and people promote, elevate, and support assets. That's really the secret. When I had more people at my disposal or fingers, everybody came to me. Everybody wanted to do favors for me, and I would do favors in return, and that really elevated everything. So what do we got here? Well, the victory is kind of more of a question. Oh, victory for who? I like it. Because some characters win and some characters lose. That I enjoy seeing that. But the titles are always subject to change. Well, two of them should definitely say. But victory, if you like that, it's a strong title still, just in the sense that it's keeping with the motif. You ran for a couple years. Did he pass while running? They didn't shoot him because he stopped running. Mike Hodge died of an awful heart attack at the side of a pool while on vacation next to his wife. Terrible, terrible thing. But ran for a couple of years. So you're making more jokes, though. Oh, because of the run. Okay. I ran 4 years? 4 years in a row? Yeah, I ran 4 years. Sign network. Always with the talking to people. Yes. Always. You gotta network. The 3 needs of success is network, market, practice. It's who you know, who knows you, and how well you know yourself. Who you know is going to build your circle of influence. Circle of influence doesn't influence your career. It influences better, stronger habits. Basically, you learn the industry. You learn who and what not to do. The marketing is how you leave an impression on somebody, and therefore, they know you. They know you are capable of X, Y, Z. They know you are more than just your craft. If I bring you on, you're an asset. Why? Because your practice, right? Your knowing yourself, your strengths and weaknesses allows you to add value to the tables you join to better lead, follow, and advise. Leading isn't to take over, it's to inspire. It's to create motivation and proactivity. Following doesn't mean blindly. It means that you are adding value to the tables you join, meaning that your advice and suggestions or even your behavior is to advance the mission of the table. And then, of course, advice isn't to be the one they choose, but to offer options. And all those things, they add to something. But people, Thomas. Thomas? I know, people are scary. It gets scary out there, I assure you. There are a lot of people I could tell you in the industry where you're just like, stay away from those people. Geez, 65 years old and I still don't know who I am. Is? Well, I know you're making a joke and I love it. But at the end of the day, honestly, who we are is the things we care about. So we talk about writing and character positions. That's basically, I get that from my study of psychology and my study of people. And I approach writing with that knowledge, with that information of everything I've ever studied about human behavior and all these other things. And it's true. Our positions are our behavior mechanisms. Our positions are based on our biases. Our positions are based on the people around us and how their third-party interaction created some sort of emotional connection to something. It's the same reason that, my brother was into a certain kind of heavy metal, hair bands and stuff like that, and also Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden. that I was 7 years younger than him, but because we connected on that, it leaned me into liking the music, and thereby I developed my own appreciation for it. But my position is based on what I felt originally. Uh, and this is how we figure out who we are. What are the things that matter to us? What are the things that we want to put time into? What are the things we care about? And that becomes who we are. So our positions are ultimately the cost of admission. You must have cast iron legs. No wonder you understand Manowars. I am made of metal. People are scary. Cats aren't. That is true. Dogs are both scary and not scary. But when they are not scary, because they love you, they're the greatest animal in the world. Cats are great. They are, but they do have attitudes. And I know. Jim Butcher's talking cats beg to differ. Have you ever seen the movie Cats and Dogs? Success is mine is accurate. Cats chase off bears, and bears are scary. Ergo, cats are scary. M, did you know that bears are related to dogs? That's right. Bears related to dogs. They belong to a different family in general, but they have a close relationship. Bears, but here's something that's really interesting. Did you know that bears are closely related to the pinnipeds, like seals, sea lions, stuff like that? More so than they are to dogs, but there are certain characteristics of dogs and bears that link them together. One being, I believe, the shoulder blades. They don't have the shoulder blades. They have the same kind of functionality like that. But yeah, there you go. Even though Morticia just swiped at me from behind the curtain as I walked past. That's funny. You probably deserved it, Flowers. Well, I mean, yeah, cats, they know. They know. Yes, Emma, I was carrying yogurt at the time. Have to keep that in mind for the rooch. Yes. There's little things that's nice to know. I think whales are related to, right? Bears related to whales. Right? Isn't there like a funny thing like that, right? Oh, no. What mammal are related to males? The hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. Yeah, hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. Yeah, so it says whales are actually closely related to dolphins. Hippos. They share a common ancestor, which is the four-legged, even-toed ancestors that lived on land approximately 50 million years ago. Look at that. We're learning stuff. Isn't that fun? She loves me, especially when she scratches me. The cat's sitting there like Palpatine. Do it. I can feel your skin under my claws. All right, the facts on bears. Yeah, that's what we do here. We learn things. I did not know that. Wolves don't have a chest like dogs. I do know that wolves don't actually survive by the alpha-beta mechanism that we once thought. There's some really interesting studies about wolves. And also, Yellowstone had no wolves, and they placed wolves into Yellowstone because they had basically been taken out or died. And it replenished not only the land, the grass grew, the rivers grew, but it maintained control over the deer and stuff like that. Also, wolves aren't necessarily aggressively adversarial when it comes to attacking. They are more likely to be scavengers than they are hunters, like a tiger or a lion or even a bear. Yeah. Is it more of a human chest? It depends. It depends if it's a full moon or not. Bear whales. Now, that's... see, we've come full circle. Whales. Right. First of all, if there was a bear whale, that would be amazing. Ooh. Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. If you don't know what song that is, it's it's a deep dive. She knows we're talking about her. She's gone to bed in her tent. And well, she should. Tell Morticia that we'll give her a treat if she behaves, okay? The most dangerous animal in Africa is man, if I remember correctly. Are we going into Dogman County? Yes, we are. They're smart enough to do a risk. Yes, they are very smart to do the risk assessment. What I don't understand, and please, anyone enlighten me, how the hell did we get a Chihuahua and that thing is related to a wolf? That's all I'm saying. Like, who in their evil, twisted right mind was like, you know what would be funny? Taking this wolf that stands almost 3 feet tall, whatever the case is, they're huge, and then we'll just turn it into a Chihuahua that is more aggressive than wolves. I'm just asking for prosperity. All right, where are we? We're at the end. I think we're done for today. So next week we will be on the 41st episode of Write a Book with Me, from concept to completion. We come a far way. Far away. Honey, I Shrunk the Wolf. That's funny. But anyway, please keep in touch. As always, please subscribe, like, share, comment on the videos. It helps the algorithm. It helps the channel grow. We've been really killing it. I almost got 10 subscribers just in the last couple days. So thank you for that. And by the way, the reason I say thank you is not that maybe you're not sharing. It's just that by watching the video, giving me the retention, it tells YouTube, hey, their videos are doing something. So it really means a lot that you've given me 2 hours of your time, and I know what that's worth. So I do not take it lightly. Please, however I come off, just know that I am deeply appreciative and thankful for the love. It's it's more than I can explain, So, but with that, what do we got? One of my supervisors at Petco years ago used to joke that there's no way some Chihuahua is gonna take a buffalo. I mean, you never know. Maybe three Chihuahuas, because they were pushing buffalo. Yeah, they were. The buffalo. Enjoyed the stream. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Success is mine. I hope to see you next Saturday, Sunday. As always, much love to everyone. And yeah, let's do it. I think I'm going to get some, rest my voice and get some lunch. We're going to do some lunch. With that, I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. And as always, keep developing the right mindset. Really, thank you again. Much love, much love. And we will talk soon. Assalamu